All right, get yourself up nice and tight to that mic so we get an accurate record. And Mr. Neal, are you inquiring this morning?
Yes.
Go ahead, whenever
May
you're
I be
ready.
seated during that direct?
Sorry?
May I be seated during the direct?
Yes, thank you for asking.
All right. If it please the court and counsel, could you state your name and spell your last name?
It's Leslie Hendrian, Hendrian.
All right. And Leslie, what part of the state do you live in?
I live in Jefferson County.
All right. And do you have experience in working with public safety and law enforcement?
Yes.
And what is that experience?
I did about 11 years in the dispatch center.
All right. And in September of 2022, were you working as dispatcher?
Yes.
All right. Just so we have an understanding of what that even means, tell us about the dispatch center.
Dispatch for Idaho Falls, they all vary, but for Idaho Falls, it has 9 stations that you can be at. There's usually about 3 to 5 dispatchers working at a time, depending on the shift, and 1 supervisor on duty, depending on the shift. So you come in, you get your console. You've got 8 different screens that you're looking at. There's typically like 3 different computers you're working on, 2 keyboards. Everybody is assigned a position at work that day. And we all just work as a team and take care of the city.
What kind of things are up on those 8 screens? What are you looking at?
There's multiple different programs. You've got a CAD program, you've got a computer program for the phone calls that are coming in, you have a computer program for the radio systems. So when the responders are talking to you, you're not holding a radio, you're talking basically through the computer program system. There's research programs, maps of the city, of surrounding areas, just depending on what you're working that day. You're looking at fire maps, police maps, all sorts of things. There's a lot going on those screens.
You mentioned CAD. What's that?
That's computer-aided dispatching. And so when you're in a dispatch center, someone's answering the phone. Everybody answers the phones, but generally when you're answering the phones, you're typing the information into the computer-aided dispatching, the CAD program, which then sends it to another dispatcher in the room where they pull it up and they can dispatch law enforcement, fire, medical, the things that they need.
Let's talk about September 3rd of 2022. Were you working that night?
Yes.
Do you remember what your shift was when you started or anything?
So it was a night shift, and those usually start about 7 p.m.
How long do they go for?
It can be anywhere from 6 hours to 12 hours, just depending on what you're assigned for the day.
And at that time period, how long had you been a dispatcher?
My experience was about 10 years.
And so tell us the layout on September 3rd. How many people were working? What were they doing?
I can best recall there was 4 of us in there with a supervisor. We're just working, doing our jobs.
But I mean, what was your task that night?
I was answering phones that night.
And so if you answered phones, you wouldn't necessarily then pause and get on the radio with the responding units?
We could, but not necessarily, depending on how busy it was. I didn't work the radio as much that night. Like if someone needed to get up for a break, I could cover one of the radios, but no, not usually.
And how are you communicating between the person who takes the calls and who actually is on dispatch sending?
We usually are communicating through that CAD program. Sometimes we do like a mic mute, and we can talk to each other in the room just to relay information faster, because typing can be a little bit slower. So sometimes we do talk to each other in the room about stuff.
What was the most serious call you had that night?
I had a couple. I took a call from a witness that said he wanted to report a shooting, and then I took a call from Mr. that said that he wanted to report himself and confess.
All right. So the first call that you received, that was from, do you remember who that was from?
I remember it was a neighbor, I'm not gonna say his name right, but it's Brightberg, something to that effect. So I always ask people to spell their names because sometimes it's harder to remember, but he was just reporting that he had heard something.
Objection to hearsay.
Mr. Dale?
Well, and this is already in evidence. There's an audio, I think, that she's just referring to that. So it's not for the truth of the matter. The audio speaks for itself.
And I would agree, we have this call already as an exhibit, so I'll allow her to answer those questions. Overrule any objection.
Objection as to cumulative.
I'll overrule that one also, but Mr. Neal, keep their examination pretty tight because we do have this audio already in the.
All right. Ms. Hendry, you've been handed an object there. Now, do you recognize that?
Yeah,
And so, did you review the content on that particular object before?
yes.
Okay, and so describe for the record what you got in your hand.
It's a memory card.
Okay, and you reviewed the content prior to taking a stand today.
Yes.
And how do you know you reviewed it?
I initialed and dated it.
All right. And is that a fair and accurate recording of the phone call that you received that night?
Yes.
All right. We move for admission of State's Exhibit number 12, right?
Mr. Svinsky?
No objections.
All right, and I'm just going to ask one additional foundation. You referenced 2 phone calls that you received that night. Mr. Neal asked that was accurate representation of the phone calls you received. Could you ask a follow-up?
Sure. Which phone call are you talking about?
The 911 call from Mr. Ben.
Okay.
All right, with that, I will allow the admission of Exhibit 12.
We'd ask the publisher.
You may call.
What is your emergency?
Yeah, I need to turn myself in.
Okay, in reference to what?
A shooting.
Okay, where did it happen at?
It happened on Saturn Avenue.
Okay, what's your name?
My name's Mark Smith.
Spell me your last name, Mark.
D-E-N-T.
And what happened, Mark?
I shot someone.
Okay, and where are you at now?
I'm at Albertson's on 17th, right by O'Reilly's Auto Parts in Wells Fargo.
Okay, right there by home?
I think so.
Okay, are you in a car?
I'm in a truck. I'll be outside with my hands up.
What kind of truck are you in?
It's a gray Toyota Tacoma.
Okay, do you have the gun with you still, Mark?
Yeah, it's inside. It's unloaded. It's in the truck. I'll be outside the truck when the police show up. I'll have my hands up.
Okay, hang on just a second for me, okay? Let me talk to my officers. Who is the guy? Do you know him, or?
Yeah.
Okay, what's his name?
His name is Nikolas Bird.
It's in the bed of the gun's in the bed of the truck, is that correct?
It's on the passenger side of the truck.
Okay.
And it's unloaded. It's empty.
Okay. Hang on just a second, Mark. What is the phone number you're calling me from?
It's my cell phone is 206-910-6353.
Okay. All right. And I'm sorry, tell me the guy's name again.
His name is Nikolas Bird.
Okay, well, can you tell me your side of the story? What happened?
Actually, I think at this point I need a lawyer.
You just want to talk to a lawyer at this point?
Yeah, but I'm gonna turn myself in, so.
Okay. Nope, that's totally fine. I'm just gonna let you know when our officers are getting ready to pull up, okay?
Okay.
Where at in the parking lot are you? Are you closer to like Albertsons or are you closer?
I'm close to
Are you closer over? I'm sorry, tell me that again?
Wells Fargo. I'm close to the
You're closer to the Wells Fargo?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you like more in the Wells Fargo parking lot then?
No, I'm in the Albertsons parking lot, but I'm right by Wells Fargo.
Okay. Okay, and Mark, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, are you by that Java Express right there, or are you kind of like in between the two?
No, I'm on the east side of Wells Fargo.
I'm sorry, say that again, my phone cut out with you.
I'm on the east side of Wells Fargo.
Okay. Okay, can you see any officers out there?
No, I don't see any yet.
Okay, are you inside of your truck or outside of your truck?
I'm inside.
Okay. Do you have a license plate on your truck just so we can recognize it when we get there?
No, it just says next gen auto. I'm gonna set it on my truck, so,
Okay.
I don't want to resist the beat, so I want to be.
You're fine. So, can you put me on speakerphone then, or?
Yeah, I'll look
That
at
way
it
you-
right now.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the truck with you?
No, it's just me.
And what kind of shirt, color of shirt are you wearing?
Black and gray.
Is it like stripes or?
Yeah, a little bit. It kind of looks like static on TV.
Okay. We've got an officer that's going to be pulling up in just a second for me. Just let me know when you see him, okay?
Okay.
Okay, hang on just a second for me. Alright, I should have an officer pulling up. Just let me know when you see him, okay?
Okay, I don't see anyone yet.
Are you outside?
Yeah, I'm outside.
Okay. What I need you to do is go ahead and lay down on the ground on your stomach right next to your truck for me, okay? And put your hands out to the side. Let me know when you do it, and just put the phone next to your mouth so I can hear you.
Okay, I see the police showing up now.
Are you on the ground?
Yeah, I'm laying on the ground right now.
Mark, can you still hear me?
Yeah, the police officer's here now.
Okay. Alright, I'll let you go.
Yeah.
All right, and what were your duties as of September of 2022?
I was a detective during that time, a crimes detective.
All right, I'm going to draw your attention to September 3rd of 2022, where you called to the scene of a crime or apprehension.
Yes, I was called out around 2300 hours that night to respond to a shooting investigation.
And for those that weren't in the military, what time is that?
It's 11 p.m. So.
Okay, and where did you respond to?
I responded to the Albertsons at Holmes and 17th. Was told that there was a vehicle there I needed to process and tow.
All right, and when you arrived, what did you see?
I saw a gray Toyota pickup truck. It was already cordoned off with police tape and the passenger side door was open.
All right, and were there officers already there?
There were 2 Idaho Falls Police Department officers there, yes.
And do you know what they were doing?
They were watching the scene to make sure no unauthorized people went inside of it. They're basically scene security.
And so, what was your assignment there?
My assignment was to process the vehicle and seize any evidence out of it, as well as photograph the vehicle, the contents, any evidence seized.
All right. And during your processing, did you take photographs of the things that you were looking at?
I did.
And did you seize pieces of evidence that seemed pertinent?
I did.
All right, let's go through some of those. Governor, I'd ask that this is number 9. And that should be marked, I think, early to 13.
Number 14.
14.
That was 9 on your exhibit list?
That's correct.
Thank you.
And if you would just take a chance to look at what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 14. Can you, just for the record, state what that is?
This is a thumb drive. It's labeled Photos D. Shaner and has my initials on it in yesterday's date.
Have you reviewed the contents?
I have.
And do they fairly accurately portray what you photographed that particular night?
They do.
All right. I'd ask for the admission of State's Exhibit number 14.
Mr. Stavinsky?
No objections.
14 will be admitted.
We would ask to publish it under.
Maybe published.
Are they comfortable with that? Detective, can you pull that microphone just a little bit closer? Make sure we can hear you. All right, can you describe what we're seeing there?
This is the vehicle that I was sent to process and tow. As you can see, there's police tape around it already. In the foreground, you can see the cell phone is face up, the screen is unlocked. That little white L is an evidence marker. This is the driver's side of the vehicle.
Is that the item you're talking about?
That's the cell phone, yes.
And tell us what that little white L is.
That's an evidence marker. It's got like a ruler, a scale on it. Put it next to a small piece of evidence. It has an indicator, A or 1 or whatever one you put down there, just to kind of mark where it is.
All right. Did you find a license plate on the front of the vehicle?
I did not.
And is that an accurate depiction there of the state it was?
It is.
And the passenger side, did you see anything outside the vehicle other than the cell phone?
I did not.
And did you find a license plate on the back of the vehicle?
I did not.
And do you know what this is here? The license plate holder?
The thing that says Next Gen Motors, it's just a thing sitting inside of a license plate holder.
Did you search the interior of the vehicle?
I did.
Did you find the license plate?
I don't have it outlined in my report that I did, so no.
And I'm sorry if I asked this before, you seized this as evidence?
I did. I placed that in the Faraday bag and handed it to Detective Christopherson when he arrived on scene.
And describe what a Faraday bag is.
Faraday bag is, if you put an electronic inside of it that receives a signal, or how do I describe it best? You can't call the phone when it's in a Faraday bag. You can't remotely connect to that phone and take anything off of it or delete it or anything whatsoever.
And do you have that item with you today?
The cell phone?
Yes.
I do not.
Okay. All right. And did you next go into the interior of the vehicle?
I did.
All right. What did you find inside?
As you can see in this photograph, one of the things I found is sitting right there on top. It's a Smith & Wesson 9mm pistol with the magazine is still inside of it, but the pistol is in slide lock.
And what do you mean by slide lock?
Slide lock happens when if you're shooting and you run out of rounds, when the last round is ejected, the slide locks back to show that the gun is no longer in battery and will no longer fire.
The gun is no longer
In battery?
in batteries and can no longer fire?
Correct.
Thank you.
And did you seize that item?
I did.
Do you have that here today?
I do.
All right, Your Honor, we'd like to have that item marked as State's Exhibit number 15.
Mr. Swinsky. I guess just clarify which item.
Good clarification. Which item were we talking about?
35.
3.5.
Correct.
Other than that, Mr. Shaw.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, 15 will be admitted.
Request to publish that to the jury just from the witness stand there.
Witness may show that to the jury.
All right, and there's, seems to be two parts to that. What's the other part there?
That's the magazine that was in the firearm when I found it.
How many bullets were in the magazine?
0.
All right, and was there appearance on the firearm that it had been used?
Sorry, can you ask that again?
Objection, as for speculation.
Well,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'll read.
Re-ask the question or rephrase the question since the witness didn't understand or couldn't understand the question. So,
When you looked at the firearm, when you examined it, did you notice anything that would indicate that it had been fired?
It was in slide lock.
Now, what's the object in this picture next to the firearm?
That was an additional magazine that was sitting next to it when I first came across it and took that photo.
All right. And now the magazine that is with Exhibit 15, where was that in this photo?
You can see it actually still inside the gun. If you look at the bottom of the handle, you'll see that. I'm sorry, I don't have the mouse. So if you go up to the top of the photo, there's that black line coming around. It matches the bottom of the magazine that's out of the gun. It just shows that there's a magazine currently in the gun right now.
I'm going to draw your attention down to this area down here. As you look at that, does that give you any indications?
But it shows me the gun is not clean.
Your objection is to, it goes into the expert testimony. This witness hasn't been disclosed as an expert.
with respect to his answer to the question, I will let the answer stand. I don't know as it requires the expert testimony from the standpoint of cleanliness. But if, I will advise the state, if you're planning to get in anything that would be more akin to expert testimony, then you probably ought to have a conversation outside the presence of the jury.
Very well, Judge. Okay. Anything noteworthy in this photograph?
The dash cam in the top center portion of the picture.
Okay, I'll zoom in to the top portion. And are you referring, so what's this object here?
That's the rear view mirror.
What's this object here?
That appears to be a dash cam.
And did you collect that item?
I did.
Okay. Can you tell us where the location of these items?
This is the driver's seat.
And can you describe the item?
This is a nylon pouch with all the attachments that contains 2 more magazines.
All right, and these look familiar, but what's this for?
That's for placing on a belt or on a vest, a tactical vest that has MOLLE capabilities, basically for carrying it somehow.
And if this is carried on a belt, how would these straps be applied?
Just like any button, you would take the straps, put them inside of your belt, and then button them to the bottom part of the pouch. And it would basically make it just sit there and not be able to be taken off except by force it. Or unbuttoning it.
What items did you find here?
In the jockey box, right there, you can see there is a registration for the truck.
And what's this item down here?
In that, looks like There's a bunch of garbage, and you can see down there at the very bottom, if you zoom in, there's a pair of safety glasses, and those appear to me to be makeshift earplugs out of some kind of clay-like substance.
And this is the registration that you saw in the glove box?
Correct.
Did it indicate when the vehicle was registered?
It did. 6/10 of 2022.
And was this registration, did you double check this by running the VIN or?
Yes, I compared it to the VIN, and they matched. It was the pickup truck, even though it didn't have license plates are on there, but the VIN matched the pickup truck, the one that was on the registration.
And so there is a plate number associated with it?
There is.
What's this item here?
It was just a backpack. I don't believe there was anything in it, as you'll see as you continue through the photos.
That's the interior.
Correct.
What's this item right here?
It appears to be a piece of pavement or asphalt.
What was this item?
This was a receipt from the Bonneville County Assessor. It was some more indicia that it belonged to Mark Bent, and that it had the license plate on it as well to the pickup.
Where were these found?
I did not put down in my report where I found those. I don't recall where in the car I found them.
What is this item?
It's a Weedology vape pen.
And do you have any idea what that contains?
It smelled, it had the odor of marijuana. I seized it. I don't know what happened to it.
What's this?
That is a Kydex holster. It's for a pistol.
And the State's Exhibit number 15 fit in this holster?
I never tried to put it into the holster based on the size. I can speculate, but I don't know.
And what caliber bullet goes into this gun?
Yeah, that was already answered by the witness.
I didn't hear the objection.
Objection was asked and answered.
Was asked and answered. I'll sustain the objection.
Now, the item that's in package there with exhibit number 15, can you, from looking at that item, see what the capacity on that magazine is?
Yes.
All right. Will you tell us how many bullets can go in that?
So on the quick answer, 17.
And this is a different magazine, right? This is one that you took out of the truck.
Correct. On one side, it has the even numbers. On the other side, it has the odd numbers. So that said 16, but if you flipped it over, it would say 17.
And do you know where this photograph was taken?
It was taken in our crime lab at our old station, which is this building over there.
And can you just,
The objection to as to foundation.
Well, I'm not so sure. Has he finished the question? So,
There's a
Well, I-
objection to the previous question about the way it was taken.
all right, I can ask foundation then.
please.
How did this end up at the crime lab?
I delivered it there.
And then did you empty the bullets out of the magazine?
I did.
And then you took a picture of it?
I did.
And what kind of ammunition did you find in that?
I found 12 Luger brand, we call FMJ full metal jacket rounds. Those are the ones that are smooth. And then 3 hollow points. They were also Luger brand, all 9mm. And those are the ones that have the brass top with the aluminum or the silverish casings.
I'm
And
sorry, I lost you when you said an all 9mm, and those are the ones,
Sorry. I don't remember my train of thought in that exact moment. So, all 9mm. I think I was about to talk about the three in the kind of the left side of the screen. They have the silverish casings or aluminum, and they have hollow points. It's the hole in the middle.
Now, are those, what kind of quantity are those normally sold in a box? The hollow point kind?
I received my ammunition from the city of Idaho Falls, and it comes in boxes of 50. I've never actually purchased my own 9mm ammo, so I don't actually know.
So this is one of those, of the 3 that were in that magazine that we were just looking at?
That is correct.
And that's the base?
Correct.
Show me what the FC stands for.
I don't.
Okay. And then, how many rounds did you find in this magazine?
This is one of the magazines that was in the nylon pouch that was sitting on the driver's seat, and there are 16 rounds in that magazine. Same type of ammunition.
Were all of these magazines consistent with the pistol that you, that's exhibit number 15?
They would all, the pistol would receive all these magazines, it could, and it could fire from all these magazines.
And this magazine, where did it come from?
That was the other magazine in the nylon pouch on the driver's seat. It had 17 rounds. These are Hornady brand.
Can you describe this device? What is that?
That's a laser sight, or not sight, I guess is the wrong terminology. It's an aiming reticle where if you pointed at a target.
Objection to this testimony. It sounds it goes into the expert testimony. I understand we can have a little bit of any opinion testimony by a lay witness, but going into lasers, there was no disclosure for the expert.
I'll lay some foundation, but yeah, I don't think this reaches the,
So based on the objection, I'm gonna sustain the objection, lay some foundation, and then we'll see where we go from there. Go ahead, Mr. Mann.
and how long have you been using firearms in your life?
Since around the time I went to the academy.
And among your equipment, is there different types of optics that are used with your firearms?
Yes, I have on my pistol one of these, not the exact same brand, but I utilize one of these on my own pistol.
And how long have you used one of those?
Oh, I just recently got it. 2 months, 3 months.
And then how does that compare to this?
It's almost exactly the same. Mine has a button on each side that allows me to increase or decrease the intensity of the dot.
Did you bring the dash camera with you today?
I did.
Your Honor, I'd ask that that be marked as State's Exhibit number 16.
What's the item on the list, Mr. Mead? Was it number 6?
Number 6. Now, can I have that shown to the jury from the witness box there?
Was that already admitted?
It had anticipated it, you just had it marked.
Oh, I'm sorry. And what is that item that's been marked as State's Exhibit 16?
It's a dash cam. It goes inside the vehicle. There's an SD card with it.
And that's basically what you just, the same condition you discovered it when you saw it in the truck?
Yes.
All right. We'd ask for the admission of State's Exhibit number 16.
Mr. Stansky.
Objection is to relevance and also cumulative. There's a picture of the dash cam, and I don't know how it's relevant in this case.
All right. Relevance?
Well, the item itself is the better evidence than the particular photographs. The photographs are merely to show where that item was. It's certainly relevant to what was captured on the dash cam.
Objection, assuming facts not in evidence.
Well, he's asking what the relevance is.
Well, objective based on relevance, and I have asked for the relevance.
Well,
So first of all, let's just get to the dash cam itself, and then we'll work on the context. So with respect to that, it is an item that was obtained by this witness at the time he was doing his, when he was processing the vehicle. So because of that, I do find it is relevant, and I will allow its admission. Now, proceed.
Thank you, Judge. If I can have that just published to the jury then, to show them the item.
You can hold it up.
Did you provide that to anyone for the purposes of having it analyzed?
Yes, I gave it to Detective Christopherson.
After you got the phone, what did you do with it?
I also gave that to Detective Christopherson.
All right. And why would you give that to Detective Christopherson?
He is one of our digital forensics detectives, and he is the one who knows how to pull data off of electronic devices.
All right. And did you find anything else at the scene that you either collected as evidence or that was noteworthy, other than what we've seen in the photographs so far?
I have a list on my report. Could I be allowed to just double check that?
Would that help you? You having trouble with recollection right now?
I just have my list. I want to make sure I hit everything, yeah.
And that would help you refresh your recollection? Good.
Purposes of refreshing your recollection, you may look at your report, and then I'd ask you to put your report back away, and then Mr. Neal, you can inquire. All right.
Nothing else on my report.
All right. That's all the questions I have, Judge.
All right, Mr. Stavisky, cross-examination.
So you stated that this slide lock on the firearm indicates that it was fired.
So I believe the question was, could I tell that it had been fired or something along those lines? There's a couple ways a firearm can get into slide lock, whether you manually put it in slide lock or it goes into slide lock because you fired your last round.
So what do you mean when you manually put it in slide lock?
So for instance, if you're on the range and you want to show that you're clear or safe because someone's going to go down and look at the target, what we'll sometimes do is eject a magazine, your empty magazine, and then you can actually manually put your slide back and then lock it in yourself. You actually have to do that. If you're firing until your last round, then it automatically locks back.
You said you gave this dash cam to Detective Christopherson,
Yes, sir.
and that dash cam had a SD card inside it?
There's an SD card with it.
Okay, it's with that exhibit.
Yes, sir.
And how do you know this is the same dash cam and SD card that you have given to Detective Christopherson?
His badge number is on the bag, is my indication.
Did you bring this exhibit to court today?
I did.
You did?
Yes, sir.
Did you get it from evidence room?
I did.